Hi everyone, I'm Dr. John Douillard, and today I want to talk about ghee, but more importantly I want to talk about the pasture that the cows grazed on to make the ghee and how important that is. You know, we talk about grass-fed dairy and grass-fed beef and grass-fed anything. You know, all grass-fed products aren't created equal, let me tell you that. There's different pastures and there's different diversity in different pastures. So it does matter where you get your ghee or where you get your dairy products or where you get your beef or whatever grass-fed thing you're eating. It does matter. Grass-fed has been shown to be way more effective and beneficial than grain-fed anything, to the tune of about 500 times more CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, which has been a powerful fatty acid for weight loss and for stamina and for energy and for vitality and for the health and integrity of your tissues and your cells. And that's just one thing. But I want to talk about ghee, which is the Ayurvedic sort of miraculous substance that they somehow figured out how to make the highest concentration of butyric acid on the planet by actually taking, milk and boiling off all the milk solids and then ending up with just the actual fat of the dairy, which is the highest source of butyric acid, which is called ghee. And inside your gut, there is bugs that make butyric acid called Clostridium butyricum and others that literally make butyric acid. And butyric acid is the #1 driver for intestinal health, gut immunity. It's what your bugs eat in your gut. It's like so critical for intestinal health. Such an important substance, which of course ghee is one of the reasons why we use it in our cleanses, is because ghee is so healing and repairing and nurturing for the intestinal lining, mostly because there's many other reasons for it, but the butyric acid levels are so high. So that's one thing. But I want to talk about pastures. It's really why I want to talk to you guys about today. And pastures are really important. And gosh, I think it was 2013, we did a tour. My wife and I went to Europe and did a tour of pastures and looking at the different types of pastures. And I did a video. If you go to my website right now at lifespa.com and watch this video, it's an amazing video, one of my favorite videos of all time that I've done. And it's a video of me showing a pasture, a cow pasture here in Colorado. And if you look at the pasture and you go down into it, it's one basic grass. And if you get rid of that one basic grass, you're in a desert. It's a monoculture of grass. And that's pretty much how the grass is from Colorado all the way to California. So any of the grass-fed stuff you get along the way, it's going to be good. It's grass-fed, no doubt. But it isn't going to have the diversity that you had when you watch the video of, and I did a video of the Colorado grass, then I did a video of this Norwegian grass. And we were videoing this grass and it literally looked like a vegetable garden, the grass. And turned out that it was their cow pasture. It's just actually what they eat. And the diversity of their grass is so amazing, and it creates a whole different level of microbiology. So in other words, every different strain of grass, long grasses, short grasses, clovers, different fescues, all these different grasses and leaves and dandelions and all these leafy greens that are naturally in pastures that the cows would eat. Every one of those grasses and different leafy greens, clovers and things, they attract different bugs, different microbes. And then when the cow eats those grasses, they get this diversity, this microbial diversity, which we all know is so critical for human health. And what the problem with modern humans is they have significantly less diversity than they ever did before. And because we have a monoculture of our diet that's taking place, I think in one study in the last 30 years, we have 50% less diversity in the foods we eat than we did, 50 years ago. We are just eating the same food more and more, and we have less diversity. So then I took a picture, and then I went to Austria where they claim to have 50 different types of grasses on their pasture that these cows eat and they munch on. And there's a story, another video in the same video of me talking to an Austrian farmer, cow farmer, biologic or organic farmer, and he was telling me that there are certain weeds in his pasture, which was the whole side of this mountain, that he was sickling down because he didn't want his cows to eat them because it makes the cows feel sick. So to the tune where they are so careful about what the cows eat that they would go out there and take certain weeds out of the pasture to make sure the cows didn't eat them before they let the cows enter the pasture. So then enter our new partnership with a ghee company called Farmtrue Ghee. It's a grass-fed company from the East Coast. And on the website, you'll see pictures of their pasture, which looks very much like the pastures in Europe and Norway, really thick and lush, versus the pastures we have here in the West, California to Colorado, very dry and very monocultured. Therefore, you're just not going to get the microbiology that you would get in a more diverse pasture. And so when I talked to the founders of Farmtrue, they were telling me that the farmers that they source their dairy from, that all they talk about is the pasture. All they talk about is the diversity and the soil, and that's what they're really into. They love their cows, of course, but they know, because they're old school farmers, and these are all small farms throughout the East, throughout New England, they're all about the quality of the fat pasture, the quality of the soil, the microbiology, because that's what keeps the dairy healthy, or the dairy tasty and beneficial, but also keeps their cows healthy because they're getting that microbial diversity as well. And to the tune where, and this is why I'm so excited about our new ghee partnership with this company called Farmtrue Ghee, because it's really ghee sourced from this really diverse grass-fed pasture. They also do a thing, and one of the ghee companies that I worked with years ago, they told me that there's no such thing as grass-fed in America. No such thing as grass-fed anything in America, because in the winter months, even in California or anywhere you go, there's not enough grass, so they're always supplemented with grain during the winter months, which means that there's really no true grass-fed anything in America, according to what these sort of dairy experts told me. And then when I talked to the Farmtrue owners, founders, they told me that they only source their dairy during the spring and the summer months, and they don't source any of the dairy from the cows during the winter when they are supplemented with grain. So they may be the only 100% true grass-fed ghee company on the planet, because every other one that I've seen and heard of, and I've got this from a ghee company who makes ghee and sources ghee and grass-fed ghee, and they told me that there is no such thing as grass-fed ghee. Well, there is. And all you got to do is just make sure you stock up on your dairy and make your ghee during the months when the grass-fed is available, which is just such a cool thing to have that. And I'm so excited about this partnership with Farmtrue Ghee. And then, of course, then you think, well, why ghee and why is that so important? Well, like I said, it is the highest source of butyric acid on the planet, and as a food. And we use it to heal, repair, soothe the intestinal lining. It feeds the colon cells. It feeds the microbiome in your gut. And it also, because it's a fat, it actually encourages the gallbladder to flush and detoxify, which of course is really important, which is why our cleanses, like our cholera cleanse and short home cleanse and Kayakalpa cleanse, use ghee, because the #1 abdominal surgery in America today, a gallbladder removal surgery. And why is that? Because of bad fats that we've been fed for the last couple of decades that are indigestible. And those bad fats, those highly processed vegetable oils, end up in bread and processed foods that are shelf stable. And that's why the bugs won't eat them or make anything go bad. Bread never goes bad anymore because the bugs won't eat that oil. Bread used to go bad in a day when there was no oil in it, and now it never goes bad. And that's because of the oil, and that oil is indigestible on the shelf, on the counter. That's why the bread doesn't go bad. And when you eat it, it's indigestible to your microbiology inside of you. So your bugs won't eat it in you or on the counter. And where do those oils go? Directly, indigestibly, to your liver and gallbladder. And they congest it, causing something called bile sludge, which is really a bummer, and causes a host of digestive concerns, a host of eliminative constipation-related concerns, and a host of issues with regard to your ability to deliver good fat as energy to every cell of your body and support a healthy lymphatic system, which is why I had to write an ebook called the Safe Liver Cleansing ebook to help people learn how to heal, repair, and detoxify their liver and their gallbladder. Number one rule there, don't eat those oils. So ghee is a really powerful fat. You don't need a lot of it. You don't eat a lot of it at all, but it's one of the tools we use in Ayurveda to strengthen the liver and the gallbladder function, to strengthen digestion, elimination, your microbiome, and the health of your upper digestive strength, because your stomach makes acid, and the acid requires bile to neutralize that acid. And if you don't have good bile flow, you're not going to have the neutralizer for the acid your stomach needs to break down the gluten and the dairy and the bread and the grains and the nuts and the seeds and the lectins that people say are bad for you now. They're not bad for you. You can't digest them. That means that we've got a problem. We've got a problem with our ability to break down those hard to digest foods, which includes environmental toxins and pesticides, which we also have to digest, break down, and detoxify. So don't just sweep it under the rug and think, oh, I just don't eat these foods because I feel bad, and think you solved the problem. No, you haven't. And that's why we use ghee to help flush that liver gallbladder out in a powerful way to make those, to help to reboot and restore function to that liver and gallbladder. So check out this article. Watch this video. I think, like I said, it's this crazy, beautiful video of the difference between these pastures in different parts of the world, mind-boggling. And then read about some of the benefits of the ghee and our new ghee called Farmtrue 100% grass-fed ghee, which is pretty cool. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. Douillard.